Hello everyone and welcome to another video. We hope you enjoy today's story. I need an unbiased opinion. Is my mom being extremely insensitive or am I wrong?
I really need an unbiased opinion as to if my mom is in the wrong here, or if I am, or if we both are.
I especially would like to hear from you if you are a parent yourself.
As I am not a parent yet, I cannot put myself totally in her shoes.
Happy to respond to any follow-up questions, but it may not be till tomorrow as we have some plans tonight.
I am 28F and have been with my husband 30M since we were 19/21. He is a chronic pain sufferer. Mainly trigeminal neuralgia, which is considered one of the most painful conditions known to man. He has had 4 shoulder surgeries as well, as a result of high school sports injuries, and although the surgeries were successful, he will likely always been in pain unless he gets full shoulder replacements. He has experienced more pain than most elderly people.
This isn't even the full extent of the pain ailments.
Despite all this, he spent the first few years after college working while living at home, and was able to put most of his paycheck plus an inheritance into stocks/crypto. Things blew up, and let's just say we will likely not have to work a traditional job ever again. He does day trading, and I have a few Etsy shops I do for my pure enjoyment.
I genuinely have never been a career woman.
More power to you if you are, but I just want to be a stay-at-home wife/mom one day, hopefully soon. Because of his physical injuries, housework is probably more split 70/30ths, and I'm usually the one to carry heavier stuff, like cases of Costco water.
This is honestly no burden to me at all.
I am blessed to be as able-bodied as I am and enjoy being able to help someone I love.
Now add my mom into the picture.
My parents divorced when I was young, but my dad was very much an involved parent. I was extremely close with him, but my mom was the primary custody parent. He unfortunately passed away in 2017 at only 50. I think she feels a lot of guilt for some of the ways she raised me, typical boomer/Gen X stuff: spanking, respect your elders, extremely high expectations, not good with regulating emotions, never apologizing for when she was wrong as a kid, etc., that she overcompensates by caring so much about me, that she doesn't give 2 shits about my husband. To a point where, in my opinion, she says extremely insensitive and tone-deaf things. I understand putting your child first, but I feel the way she has begun to speak about him has been downright disrespectful.
I have several examples.
Asking why we're just sitting around and suggested we go to some touristy summer event in his town 2 weeks after his 3rd shoulder surgery when I was there taking care of him. Yes, I told her I was going to see him post-surgery, she knew. Shoulder surgery is a major surgery, at least the one he had. I had a cosmetic nose job in 2021, an objectively less intense surgery than shoulder. She never asked me why I was just sitting around in the weeks after my surgery, when I actually felt more than well enough to be up and out by day 5. A few years ago, he was in the hospital for what felt like appendix pain. I made the mistake of telling her. She told me to call her so she could comfort me for how hard it must be to see him in pain, and even suggested I leave the room/go outside the hospital with cell service, leave him all alone in agonizing pain, to call me so she could comfort me. If I was in active unmedicated childbirth and in a lot of pain, and he left me all alone to call his mommy and get comforted by his mommy because it upset him to see me in pain, I guarantee she would be furious at him, and rightfully so. There is a time and a place for a caretaker to be comforted.
In 2021 we did a cross-country move.
Not saying which states for confidentiality, but the total driving time with stops was about 30 hours. The drive caused a severe chronic pain flare-up in his back.
He almost went to the hospital.
2 hours after I told her he was in severe back pain from driving, she said, "Have him build it, it'll be easy," in response to me being annoyed that the movers wouldn't put together our king-size bed frame for liability reasons and we had to pay someone $200 to do it and wait several days. She has asked at least 4 different times for us to drive to an East Coast state, from a West Coast state, for some occasion, either forgetting or not caring how bad his back hurt after the first drive.
And knowing damn well she wouldn't drive to us versus fly if it wasn't an imminent emergency situation.
Prior to a visit, she asked us if we had any dietary restrictions/preferences. Mine are strictly preferences, but there are a few foods he won't eat because it makes his pain flare up bad, mostly seed oils like canola. Everything she bought had said ingredients that make his pain flare up, but she followed my dietary preferences to a T. She also has dietary restrictions, and every time she had visited me, I followed them, happily. She said it's not a big deal for him to eat it just for a week. This is probably the worst one in my eyes. TW for mentions of abuse. My husband has a complicated relationship with his mom. She is basically a functioning alcoholic who in drunken fights, has told him she wished she aborted him, other absolutely horrific things, and has thrown drinking glasses at him in fights resulting in him getting physically cut. Constantly belittles him for not working a real job when he has made more in a year than she made in her life. It's a very hot and cold relationship, and she has been verbally abusive at minimum his whole life. Cutting someone off, especially a parent, is never an easy decision. I know because I did it with a grandparent. It's not my place to ask, demand, or expect him to cut ties with a parent. That's a decision one has to come to on their own if they are ready. My mom was sort of saying I should make him do it, all because of one line his mom said to me. Not because of what she has done to him his whole life. She was harping on the one and only time his mom said something unkind to me. You stole my son away from me and moved him across the country. Typical toxic boy mom stuff, but nothing in comparison to the horrible things she has said to him. He very much did defend me when this was said, by the way. My mom harped over the one line she said to me, about how horrible she feels for me. In reality, I don't give a fuck that his mom said that line to me. It's nothing in comparison to what he has been told. I have no emotional ties to her. I can make the decision to never see her again should I choose, and it will have no emotional impact on me. That's his mom. No matter how toxic she may be, it's difficult to cut a parent off, and I imagine it's very emotionally traumatizing for him to hear those things from a parent. I spoke up and said, don't worry about me, I'm not the one with an abusive mother having to hear horrible things no child should ever hear. Show some concern for him, and she said, I only worry about you, you're my kid. And immediately changed the topic. This basically confirmed she doesn't care about him and has no empathy for someone who in many circumstances has been dealt a difficult hand. I literally feel like I could tell her, hey mom, I cheated on my husband, assaulted him and maxed out all his credit cards and he wants a divorce, I'm so upset, and she would find a way to make me be the victim. She also takes things extremely personally, and I have to go out of my way to make her not feel like a horrible mom. Like I mentioned above, we did a cross-country move. She lives in, and we previously did, a very red state, even though she isn't a Republican. She lives there solely for the warm weather. We left the state largely because I'm bisexual / very pro-LGBT, and very pro-choice, two of the things the state wasn't. Not a place I wanted to continue living in, especially as we are trying to get pregnant. It was hardly the environment we wanted to raise a kid in. We live in a blue state now. My husband agrees with me, but had an added reason to want to move, and that was to get away from his toxic mom and have more distance. When I mentioned this, she says, guess you moved away to get away from your toxic mom too, and oh. I never said that. I have endlessly told her I wanted to leave because of the politics in said state, but she always makes it about her. And I have to go out of my way to comfort her. Anytime I mildly confront her about anything, her response is, I guess I'm just a horrible mother then, and proceeds to cry. It's extremely immature. So I have no idea how I am going to approach this situation. I don't want to cut her off. I love her very much. But if she continues to not have basic empathy for the most important person in my life, it will definitely put a strain on our relationship. Her mom, my grandma, is aware of this situation and is on my side, and is even willing to be the middleman and help me talk to my mom gently, largely because they live in the same town and these types of talks are better in person. My grandma and I are extremely close. She is young by grandma terms, 72. My grandma has always treated my husband with an enormous amount of love, empathy and kindness, and they are very close. She treats him like she does any of her grandkids. She broke down in tears upon hearing of how my husband's mom spoke to him. She briefly acknowledged that what his mom said to me was dumb, but was nothing in comparison to him. I was not the focus of his abuse. Anyway, I really would love to know if anyone has dealt with this, any advice, or I am totally in the wrong here. That was our story for today. Did you like it? If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and we will see you all tomorrow with new stories.